Alrighty. Well, I just want to say just a couple things. I just washed my hair, so I'm drying it right now. But I got a towel on my head. Don't call me a towel head. But basically, mowing, looking great. Like in February, March 2022, all the way to July, August, like there was so much up and down volatility. If you were just swing trading, you should have made a lot of money. If you were just buying call options and you got in early, you should have made 30, 40, 50 extra money. Like there's a lot of things that happened, but ever since they gave themselves the first dilution vote of the extra billion shares, Mullen has just collapsed and collapsed and collapsed. And it had a couple rallies. I guess my Twitter's deleted now, but if you went back a couple months ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 months ago, we were falling down, and I said like Mullen's going up from here, and it went up 200% in like the next 3 days, and then it crashed again, and I said it would. Like the point of what I'm getting at is, if you look at the last 2, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks of Mullen, it's different. Like we're used to just seeing the negative 20 to 30% in a day on our red days. And then sometimes we have green days, but then it always, whatever we're given, gets taken away. And not only does it, like whatever we're given get taken away, but we always end up 90% below where we like started to rally. And so if you're just watching, like it's obviously not the same. Like we had a kind of big red day yesterday, 6%. And now our red day today is half of that. What is tomorrow going to be? Half of that? And then the next day, break even, break even, break even, break even, squeeze? Like, what game are we even playing here anymore? Like, if you're scared, you're just not, like... I just feel so much pressure being built up right now. And it looks like the more, like, they can't add more pressure. The more they try, the less results they're getting per share that they dilute. And so, typically, when they realize this, they know they gotta let it squeeze, because if they don't, then they're eventually gonna run out of shares. And if they do that and they run out of shares and then let us squeeze, like we'll probably go to 1,000 in the next 30 days. Like we'll 10,000 our money. But I don't think they'll do that. I think they're gonna keep a couple 100 million shares, let it run to $10, $20, $30, and then they're gonna start diluting with the last remaining shares that they have. And then David Mitchery is going to have his road shows, and for 2 months he's going to be showing everything, and then he's going to start offering people cars, and the first 100 Mullen 5S's are going to be on the streets by October, and many people in line, and there'll be real orders. It won't be no $100 to get your name on a list no more. You're going to have to put $10,000 down. You're going to have to put, probably 50,000, like half down, just to have them build it for you. But they'll be able to build it for you in 3 months, and they'll probably be able to build 1,000 a year or so. But that's just the 5RS. Not a lot of people can afford those. Well, I mean, maybe they will be able to, and maybe we'll just, like, Tesla will go bankrupt, and Mullen will buy Tesla as we skyrocket, and we'll get all the manufacturing plants that Elon built for us, and we'll be able to build 1,000,000 cars a year. I don't know. It don't matter. All I know is the stock price is going up. So, last thing I want to talk about. Let's see if I can talk about it clearly. It was a thought that I had. And it's about how we're all losers. And in order to be a winner, like obviously if you play enough, you can win again. You can also win and be a winner and a loser. Just because if you play enough, you're bound to beat somebody. But the point is, the difference between me and the rest of you is that I felt like a loser. But I also knew that in a couple things in my life, I never even had to try, and I was just so much better at it than everyone, and it made people angry. And so I knew I had some talent, but I knew that I didn't have any skill, and I wasn't the best at anything. And I knew I had time, and I knew I could look at something and understand it and make it make sense to me, and if someone else is doing it, I knew I could eventually learn to do it myself. So these were like the things that I built my life upon. And basically what I do is I go out in the world, find something I want to be good at or understand better, and then I'd master it the best I know how, just by in my basement researching, studying. I mean, it's all self-knowledge. It's not like going and finding a coach ever. I never find a coach. And I self-master it, or to the extent that I can at that time. Obviously, I've thought I've mastered something, and then I come back 2 years later, and then I really master it, you know? And so, like, a lot of this happened, and the point is that the difference of how I live my life versus how you guys live your life is you go out there and you try to compete and you try to keep up with your peers. While me, I go out and I challenge my peers. I see where I'm weak. And then I go back home and I work on it. And I build it and I grow it. And then I go and I challenge myself somewhere else. And then sometimes I just don't like the challenge, so I just stay away from it. But whenever I see something that I'm jealous of or anything, like I go and I see what is it about? How did they get it? Where is it from? And I challenge it. And sometimes I win, sometimes I lose. But every time I lose, like, that's the thing. What a lot of people don't understand is the loser can be the better person often. Often, okay? Like, just because you lost does not mean the other person's better than you. And the way that I can prove that is, like, the way it's coming in my head right now is if you just think like a tennis match. So if the person that's serving has the best serve in the world, and he's serving, and the person he's playing against, like, is the best at has a 99 score on every part of tennis except for returning a good serve. The person that's serving, if he's having a good day, is probably going to win. Even if he's just, like, pretty good at the rest of the stuff. If this one person can't learn to return that serve. And so what's going to happen is eventually those two people are going to meet. The person that serves is going to beat the person that's actually the best in the world. And one day, that person that's best in the world will realize that he does have this weakness, and it will make things happen in his life he didn't want to happen. And so what is he going to do? He's going to go build a machine that's going to be able to perfect the serve better than any human on earth until he can return every single serve that machine can pitch at him. Like, that's the way I live my life, people. I've known I've been better than almost everybody at everything for a long time, and if I would just try a little bit harder, I know I'd get the results everyone else has already got. But I haven't been chasing those results. Even when I was making money, I never kept it. I spent it instantly, gave it away, whatever. Like, gambled it, didn't matter. I just don't want the money. The money's not going to help me. I need to be better. And so I just keep going out in this world, like, obviously lots of vacations and do what I want to do and all these other things. But at the same time, anytime a challenge reveals itself, I always attack the challenge, win or lose. It's just the way you got to live. It's the only way to live. Good things are coming. One day you'll be able to think about something other than money. And that's when I'll start setting expectations. Until then, I just feel like there's too much pain to really have the conversation. Well, there's a lot of things going around about how tomorrow might be a pretty good day. And because I believe we are living in the times of the Bible and the book of Revelation, I want to leave this video with one last comment about basically the rapture, I guess. I see a lot of people talk about it, and I see him quote some words that Paul may have written about being raised up, the chosen people being lifted up. What you got to understand is I only take the Bible for what I can read and fully take out of it as truth. If I can't understand its exact truth, then, like, I'll ponder on it, but, like, I won't let it determine any action in my life. And if you read past Paul's words into James all the way to the end, you're now reading about the second coming from James on. And if you read through there's absolutely zero times where anyone goes to heaven in the end days. Instead, Paul said that the church of God is within the heart of an exalted man. And so the book of Revelations talks about the man who overcomes. And then at the end, it talks about in chapter 21, 1 through 7, and 22 and 23, about how God will be with his people. God is the one who overcome. God is the beginning and the end. God will be the light of the world, and Jesus Christ will be the light in his heart and soul that shines upon the world as God has become an exalted man through conquering this world. Similar fashion to which Jesus did. If you understand that, and understand that when God conquers and becomes exalted, he lives and reigns for 1,000 years as King of Kings. There may be other kings on earth, and there may be, like, God may not have a direct role for the 1,000 years of talking to people every single day. But his presence will be available to those who are worthy, and his message will obviously be shared. And so, if you're thinking that you're already living a life so righteous when Paul says that 100% of people in the end days are sinners, if you're thinking you're already living a life so righteous that God is going to become exalted, which gives him the right to go to heaven if he wanted to, but instead he's going to send you guys to heaven as he stays on earth with the scum and has to try to save everybody. Like, you're going to hell if you think that way. Just for thinking that, you're a fucking sinner and a retard. It is not God's job to save anybody. It's God's job to save the chosen people who will listen and humble themselves. And then it's their motherfucker jobs to go save their brothers and sisters with God's word, God's power, God's presence, God's manipulation on the powerful and the earth. All will see and know. And it's your job to convince people to soften their hearts. It's not your job to fucking go to heaven and say, thank God this trial is over. Like, my God, you haven't read the Bible. If you think the rapture says you're going to fucking heaven at the first sign of the second coming, you're going to fucking hell.